Hickok 45 here. We're going to talk to you a little bit about hard cast bullets. Just kind of a basic piece of information for the fundamentals playlist and the basics playlist. You hear the term hard cast bullet probably pretty often, and a lot of you know what it means, exactly what it means. Others, I'm sure lots of new shooters, and maybe some folks who have been in shooting a little while, still confused about, well, what's a hard cast bullet? Isn't all lead cast? Aren't all lead bullets cast? Hard cast? Isn't all lead the same? You know, that's those sorts of things probably circulating through some people's heads. I know they were mine at one point, bouncing off the empty walls in there. Well, you just saw me hammer this one, and of course that's lead. It's a jacketed bullet, right? And if I went down too much further, of course I'd be hitting my fingers, right? So lead, we know, is soft, and that's what happens. Now that bullet's jacketed, so they're able to use, when they make these, softer lead. So you can use pure lead, okay, just pure lead. It is designed to flatten out, isn't it? Okay, a hollow point, or in most jacketed bullets. In fact, I would say in just about every jacketed round, any bullet, I think I can say that with probably 99% accuracy, that if it's jacketed, it's going to have soft lead in it. Now there are some unusual bullets that are manufactured these days, and there may be some I'm not aware of. And I know Barnes Bullets make some solid copper bullets, and there are lots of different kinds. But if you've got a bullet of lead and you have it encased in a jacket, it's probably just pure lead, soft lead. All right, like this one was. This is, I think, one of those, and it has hit on the range. I recovered this from the range, and it's hit a rock or whatever, and so it's smashed up there, of course. Now, that's just pure lead. Now, if you want a bullet that, and fairly inexpensively, that is, or less expensively, that's not going to smash up that easily, you go to a hard cast bullet. This is a 4570 bullet as well, and it's just lead. Now, I can't really think of any bullets like this much that are made out of just pure lead. If they're designed to be loaded in a case and fired from a modern firearm, or a firearm that uses a case and a primer and everything, it's probably going to be hard cast. That's what this one is. Now I'm going to sacrifice it. I'm going to put it up here. Now you'll notice, now it's lead. It's not like iron, but when I pound on it, see, it doesn't flatten out quite as easily. I can pound on it a little bit longer, to get it to move. It's harder. That's me. You'd love it if I smashed my finger, wouldn't you? See, when I hit that, now it is lead, but it's just not quite as soft. Whereas if I take one of these, let's see if I can hit that, even with the jacket on it, I could just flatten that thing out without too much trouble. All right. So we're talking about harder lead if it's a hard cast bullet. Okay. And sometimes it'll even if it's kind of brittle, it might even break apart a little bit. All right. So that's was a hard cast bullet. Now, why do we have hard? Well, for example, before I get too far afield, here's one that's been fired. Same bullet, essentially, 405 grain, 4570. That one has been fired. Let's sneak over and get another one that's not been fired or hammered on. Now that's a different company. This one has more lube grooves, as you can see, but those are basically the same. 405 grain, 4570. That was kind of the original, and that I think came out 1873, with the Trapdoor Springfield. And that one has been fired. It's recovered from the range over here. So a lot of people probably would think that would be flattened out no matter what it hit. If it hit dirt or anything, it's just lead, but it's relatively hard lead. It has a mixture, and I'm not sure what all the percentages are, some tin, some antimony in it to make it harder. So it's not pure lead. It's hardened just a little bit, and it will withstand more of a beating. It's not designed to mushroom. Now, well, what's the difference, Hickok? Why would you use one over the other? Well, with some things, you want the bullet to flatten out a little bit more, like that one. That's got a soft tip, jacketed. If you were hunting maybe deer, something like that, I guess that bullet would be fine. It would probably go right through them from a 4570. But it's okay. It's a big bullet, and no problem with the deer, no matter what kind of bullet you use. That kind of weight. In fact, some people use hollow points, and they want it to expand more. Hard cast bullets are designed to penetrate. Okay, that's why these would not be good for a self-defense round necessarily. I mean, they might work, but they're going to penetrate. This round right here, this 45-70 in a hard cast, would be probably one of the recommended rounds for bear hunting, or if you're in bear country and you're carrying your 45-70 guide gun or something like that, your trapper, whatever, a bullet like this would be a pretty good bullet. Okay, it's definitely going to penetrate. It's not going to fall apart, break up, expand before it gets to a vital part of Mr. Grizz. All right, so hard cast bullets, and particularly in a handgun. If you're in bear country, let's see what we have here. Here's a 45 Colt. We've got the same kind of pair here. Here's one that's actually been fired, 45 Colt, and then there's one that's not been loaded yet. So you see, it's a range recovery item there, and it's not damaged at all. It just went into the dirt. Now, if it had hit a rock, it would be dinged up a little bit, but it's hard stuff. So 44, and I've got 44s around here somewhere. There's a 44 Magnum. See, it's maybe hit a little rock or something, but hard cast. So they're designed not to come apart, and they will really penetrate. So it seems almost contradictory. You've got an expensive 44 Magnum or a 454 Casull or some really hot shot revolver that you're carrying with you in bear country, and one of the best rounds is just some plain old hard cast bullet like that. Now you want one that's loaded properly, the right load, and is going to be reliable, and it's seated properly so that it doesn't jump the crimp groove or anything like that. And I won't get into all that, but that's about as good as anything, because penetration is key. That's what you want. You don't want the bullet to come apart. You don't want to over mushroom. You see these kind of jumping around here a little bit, but these are I think these were 45 and soft lead in there. They were jacketed, but they hit something relatively hard on the range. I think both these hit cinder block, and of course they flattened out. Here's what a lot of bullets look like when they hit the steel, just for your information. They flatten out into wafers, generally speaking. Okay, here's a 45. I'll use my pointer. That's a 45-70. Now that one had a little harder time. That's hard cast, but it looks like it found some rocks, you know, and bounced around in there. There's another one, you know, almost intact. You can almost reload those. See, hard cast, doesn't come apart. It is really rare to find a jacketed round from any rifle that's intact, because it's soft lead. It's, unless it just goes into nothing but soft dirt, and then it's going to be flattened out some. So that's kind of the way that works. Here's a slug example. Now slugs are generally pure lead. That's a soft one right there. Let me see. I believe if I hit that, gunners having fun. Yeah, I can tell by the sound of it. See, that's just soft lead. Okay, so they're going to flatten out on you and bend up, kind of designed to do that. Okay, so that's a 1 ounce slug. Yeah, 12 gauge shotgun slug. That's what that is. And then here's some that we recovered over there in the dirt. They've hit rocks or whatever, and they flatten out. They're nasty, aren't they? Whew, mean. They're so heavy that it's okay if they flatten out a little bit. They're going so fast. So it's kind of similar to the concept. I've got this out here. This is, I used to load for and shoot a 458 Winchester Magnum. That's a true elephant caliber cartridge. And these are solids. These are made, I'm not sure what the composition is. It's a mixture of bronze and brass or something, but it's a solid. Like, that's not a jacketed round. And it goes down to, you know, about right here. It's a chunk of metal, no lead. And because penetration is everything. You know, if you're trying to take down an elephant or something, or a rhino, penetration is what you want. You got to get into the vitals. So they actually use those in African hunting, big game hunting, dangerous game hunting. So it's the same concept. I guess you could say this is kind of a poor man's solid. Those are called solids, these African hunting rounds like that. And a hard cast bullet pretty much will achieve the same purpose. That's what is meant by hard cast. Now, again, if you're shooting anything with muzzle loaders, this is a mini ball, as you recognize maybe. They're soft lead. Anything to do with old black powder, new black powder, it's going to be pure lead, and it's going to be soft. Yeah, I'll pound on one up here for you. I know you're loving me pounding on these bullets, right? See, soft lead. could pound that down flat, not too much trouble. You know, mini ball is just pure lead. I already did that once, didn't I? Losing track. So, what I shoot in most of my 44s or my 45, my revolvers, it's just hard cast bullets like that. And many of them, if they don't hit a steel target, I mean, they're still intact. And actually, I've done that before. I've reloaded one, picked it up and reloaded just for kicks, but not necessarily advisable. Okay, there's a 44 right there. Again, the 45-70 hard cast bullets designed for penetration, and they work just like this piece of metal works as an anvil. I'm not sure what that is. I was back on a friend of mine's place, and there were some really long stretches of it, and I had my cutting tools with me, so I just cut out a section of it. Works for a great anvil, you know, just for the shooting table or the workbench, you know, in the shed. So if you can figure out what that is, maybe you can let me know. But there's a lot of it back there. I need to go cut some more of it out. But anyway, hard cast bullets. That's kind of what I wanted to cover. You know, if it's jacketed, like that's a 45 ACP, soft lead in there. That's all it is, encased by a jacket. You can see the soft lead there. So that's all you've got. So if you think a hard cast bullet is some kind of cheap version, something to shoot that just doesn't cost anything, that's not the case. And it is less expensive than a jacketed round, but it's also very, very effective. And in terms of penetration, that's what you want generally. Okay, hard cast bullet. That's what it is. Glad I could bring that to you. Life is good.